Yo. Welcome back. So it's been a while. I think it's almost been like 3 weeks now since I've uploaded a video. And honestly, I've been having like trouble acting. Like, not like performing, but I tried to make a video and I was thinking about it a lot. I wanted to do this whole saga, this little series about all this like self-reformation stuff that I was learning, all this processing that I was doing. And that put a lot of pressure on myself. I put a lot of pressure for no particular reason on this thing that I always wanted to be. I don't know if no so much to say for fun. I don't want to feel like I'm wasting someone's time. I wanted to make videos that felt authentic, that kind of felt like my own eulogy, my own memoir, that kind of stuff. There's something that had like a reason, and I always wanted to speak authentically, but there is some point to having some focus, not being completely disjoint from the thing that you're discussing, the thing that you're doing, to have some point, some purpose into what you're doing. So that's what I've wanted. And needless to say, I don't feel like I do the best job of it. But I think I just wanted to make a video. I was watching Reels as I usually do and got that like sudden little vote of inspiration in which I finally decided to act on it because I've just not been doing it because I'm like, oh, I should make a better articulated video and focus there. And that's never what this has been about. This has always just been about speaking candidly and feeling like you were having a conversation with the version of me that exists right now. And I love listening to the yard. I love having a podcast on in the background. And if people like listening to me speak, which I'm slowly finding out that a lot of people don't, but then you'd like listening to hopefully have me in the background. Or if you're a friend that ever felt disconnected from me and or you wanted to know what my voice sound like, what I'm up to, like this is that kind of thing. Because I don't know, I never wanted to push too much in one direction, that's such a bad statement, force myself on someone, force my way of speaking or my life on somebody. It's just like, you get to know as much as you want to know, and if there's ever more insight that somebody wanted to have, like I'd have this channel, and if you have like kids somewhere down the line, you're like, oh, what was their dad up to? I'm like, it was this, it was slopping it up. But the reason I'm titling this a check-in is because I didn't want to like really focus. I didn't want to focus on one particular idea. I just had a whole like slurry or slosh of ideas. So first things first, I've been having a great time reconnecting with friends during summer and really de-stressing. I messed up a lot of things starting my summer. One of them actually securing the job that I thought I was going to be getting twice. Two separate interviews that I apparently passed and then just never got followed up on. And I'm like, that's what you get for not having an HR department at the places that you apply to. So that sucked. And then follow up, I feel like I kind of did like a friend purge, leaving a bunch of different clubs, leaving different friend groups, consequently people graduating. Like I feel like I lost a lot of the people that I look up to. And I've talked about this before, but now you need to be the person that people look up to. I haven't left my original job, so I still have work over the summer, but I don't really have research. I don't really have like proper projects. I do have projects. I haven't put too much time into them because I've just been spending time with friends and trying to enjoy my life. Like sometimes I realize that I'm young, man, and I'm not that young. There's some people that are like in the NBA that I'm watching that are low-key like pretty close to my age. You're watching the World Cup. There are people that are close to your age, and you're like, wow, there's these people doing all these amazing things at your age, and that's the comparison part that sucks. And I just want to like play pickleball and hang out with my friends. I'm just like in that part of my life. I just want to rock climb. I just want to play pickleball. I just want to go on runs. I just want to eat good food and spend my parents' money. And among other things, like that's just what I've been up to. I've just been spending time with friends. I've been playing video games. I've been playing video games by myself. I've been enjoying time by myself. I've been reaching out to friends, back in that phase, back in the mode where I want to bring people together. I think hosting is like a noble skill. It's just a good skill to have. And being able to connect with people, being able to bring people together, like it's so hard to like ideate, to create things, to have ideas. I'm like, it's nice to be the bringer together or person, like that just feels good. But besides that, I had this idea, wanted to make a whole separate video on it about like effort in, effort out. And the part that sucks about choosing friends and then not being chosen is that like your love can be unrequited, right? Your efforts don't have to be met. It felt like you can put so much effort into somebody and then you wouldn't necessarily get it out, which not a good feeling. And you shouldn't feel people tell you like you shouldn't feel obligated to somebody's efforts. You shouldn't feel obligated to someone's friendship. You should feel obligated for them to be friends in the way that you want them to be friends. But you hope that that would be the case, and when that's not the case, you're sad. One of my friends sent me a reel about it because I don't know if I was crashing out. I actually don't think I was. I think I was just like being hateful. I was telling, I guess that is crashing out, but I was telling one of my friends that told me that I just make them genuinely unhappy and that I make them feel terrible as an individual, that they low key deserved it. I I guess this is a character thing. I have low tolerance for people who just complain and don't act. And this is something which I've discovered myself, but I do a lot of bad things, that things that just aren't good for me. And it is a good principle to try and live by, but it is harder than you would think to just do the right thing, just to do the thing. And people always think of that in a very moral sense, but I'm talking about like the super basics of like eating the right food, or like resting and like sleeping right, taking care of yourself and winding down at night. Like there's just all of these areas in which you can constantly improve, and it's difficult to constantly be doing the right thing. Honestly, I think you die if you always do the right thing. Like you would be stressed out if it just didn't come second nature to you, because it's a very intentional effort that you have to make, and it takes a lifetime. And it also takes some environmental factors like building up generational wealth and financial independence and not having to have that stress. I was talking to my dad about all these work stories, and he would have like sometimes a 2 week stretch of 20-hour days because their product was failing and they needed to secure this particular business for the sake of their team, or this project got pushed on them, which somebody misread the amount of capacity that they had and they had to make things work. And these are things that are outside of your control. That's a choice that you have to make. To keep my job, I need to work this many hours, and it's hard to do the right thing there because you will be sacrificing your sleep. You'll probably be sacrificing your fitness. In order to keep yourself up, you're going to eat things that aren't good for you, and you're not going to sleep right, and it's not going to be good for you, and it takes years off your life. And it's all those sorts of things. So I'm like, you don't only need to know of the right things to do, which is a very hard thing to be well informed, but to also then do the right things, which is also a difficult thing to do, and then to have the environment to do the right things, which is something which might never be possible for a lot of people, and that's just based off the cards that you have at hand. Look, got a little bit off topic. Maybe if it's a check-in, I don't have a particular topic, but going back to my friend purge, maybe I didn't have the right environment to be interpreted the way that I wanted, or maybe the people that grew up in a different environment in which just made them not akin to me, or at least with that one particular friend that sees me very poorly. I saw criticism growing up as people who cared for you. The people who didn't care for you, they don't tell you anything. They just let you do the stupid things. The people who do care about you, they support you by telling you how to improve, by also giving you the tools to improve, right? They're helping you with that get informed step. So he considered it bullying. I considered it support as a friend. I wanted friends that kept me in line. I wanted friends that supported me by letting me know if I was out of line, by giving this feedback. And he didn't do that. And at least with those particular friends, like that friend did not treat me the way that I wanted. Well, at least I did not treat that friend the way they want to be treated. And that friend did not present themselves in the way that I valued people as an individual. And that's meaningful. I think the quote was, people have different colors. So maybe you want all your friends to be the blue type, and some people are the yellow type. Maybe you want to be maybe somebody wants to be a blue type friend with you, and you want them to be a yellow type friend. And there's a lot of different ways to break this down, but at least where I had that aha moment for me was when I had a lot of friends that were really into the partying, and they couldn't open up, they couldn't represent themselves authentically unless they were under the influence, which already is something which I didn't particularly like. I don't want to call it trauma, but that was just experience that I had from a past relationship. Like, I don't like not being able to speak authentically when you're not in the right state of mind. And that's, of course, sourced from their own experiences, but that was just something that bothered me personally. And when I had that on the receiving end, where there's these friends that wanted to get closer to me, and they weren't the people that I would look up to, so I didn't want to be close friends with them. is when I realized that the binary system is flawed. It's not just friend, no friend. There's friends, there's coworkers, there's acquaintances, there's friends of friends. I'm like, there's all this area in between where I'm like, maybe this person was really close to me, they want to open up, but I don't open up to them. Maybe this is a person that I provide support for. Maybe this is a person that doesn't like receiving support. Maybe this is somebody who likes supporting other people and they don't like receiving support. Maybe there's the get together of friends and the people that show up and the people that don't show up and the people that you just have in the text thread because it's nice to have them around and they come and go as they please. Like, there's all these different ways in which people interact, and it is unfair to try to categorize them all in this one bucket. But something which I've been particularly harsh about is I have limited time in this world, and I don't want to spend my time on people that I do not deem worthy of it. And something unfortunate to realize is that there's people who don't think that way, and you can spend time with people who may not think are worthy of your time, but some of those people are worthy of your time. Now what do? You spend time with all of them. If you have a little get together, you have all your friends together, you make things work, and life really just doesn't have to be all that serious. You can just spend time with people, and that was unfortunately a wake up call to me. That was a realization for me that you can just spend time with people, and you don't need to worry so seriously about the relationships or about defining your friendship or what they are to you. They can just be what they are. And I like to categorize things. I like to think of my friends a certain way. I don't know if I'm like particularly autistic or anal about it. That's what I've been told. But I like having a clear circumstances on how I interact with particular friends. I like to know where I stand. And that means that there is an implicit ranking of friends, in which I think is very fair. I hold my family to a very high regard relative to my friends because they've provided me unconditional support by bringing me into this world and then raising me, in which I think they did a fantastic job. So I have friends that at this point I would consider they provide unconditional support, like friends that just like at points like really didn't like me and we somehow still managed to stay friends, and now the ride or dies, right? Or the friends that no matter what you try to get together, even when life is really busy or you feel like you have to get together because they're your friends, they're your classics. And that's been a really nice feeling to enjoy spending time with the people that I care about again and again and again. It's not just, okay, we're on summer break, I want to see you at least once. It's, we're on summer break, let's see each other as much as we can. And I love spending time with friends like that. And the friends are getting more busy. I'm growing up and a couple of my friends have internships and they're not at their hometown during the summer. They're at their college, they're at a different college, they're at a different city. Bottom line is, the friend group is split up. And they're still split up going into summer when I thought we would return, and the friend group has gotten smaller, and that's sad. But it's still been nice to spend time with people when you can. People are driving, we're planning trips, we're trying to make it work. And it's like that difference between the people who are actually care about you, who are busy, they'll give you a different time, versus the people who don't want to see you, they'll just constantly flake, or they'll just run around in circles. They might just never deny the plans, they don't want to make you feel left out. I had one friend like that. I would call that guy my best friend, and he ran around plans forever, and then 3 months later summer was almost over and I'd been bugging this guy all summer to hang out, and the guy just said, I don't want to hang out with you, and that made me sad. But that was a good learning moment for me to realize that they changed as a friend too. Friends aren't eternal. Friends can change, and friends' feelings like you can change. Friends can rank up and de-rank, and things change, and it's dynamic, and that's not how I used to see things at all. I thought I had these best friends, they're going to be my best friends for life. I thought I meet this person, we're friends forever. And that's just unfortunately not the case. And it's been a very recent development for me to look at my life and look at my time and look how I want to spend time with people and be like, hey, this person I don't want to continue to invest in. And if I see them on the street, I'll be like, hey, what's up? Maybe we'll grab food or something, but I'm not going to reach out. And maybe I'm not even going to consider this person a close friend. I won't hold them in high regard. I'm not going to be writing them any references. I'm not going to be doing them any favors. Like, that's just something internally for me. And all of that just to say that, what does it mean to be first? This might seem weird, but I said there was an implicit ranking to friends, and a lot of people are like, oh, this person would never pick me first, or this person doesn't think of me, this person doesn't check on me, this person doesn't make time for me, this person doesn't reach out. And there's so many things that people go through and live in their life, and like, we can't constantly be obsessed with other people and how other people think of you. And it's the external validation thing, right? Where people value themselves relative to what other people say of them. And I'm like, that's not good, because you should live your life how you please, hopefully, like within your own capacity, because you do have limited capacity. You as a human do not have unlimited resources, so you're working with what you got. But hopefully, you know best. because you are writing your own story, you're living your own life, and some of that may include gaining information from other people. But you need to look at that information and see if it's right for you. Because not only are you looking at somebody else's life, but you're also looking at somebody else's life which has already been lived. And that person may not have lived the exact same life as you. They may have had access to opportunities and circumstances that were different than you. Did they make their own circumstances or opportunities? Did the methods that they took to make those circumstances or opportunities still exist in the environment that you live in right now? So the world is always changing and things aren't constant, and it isn't necessarily going to help you to follow the steps of somebody who became successful in an environment which no longer exists because they already took that path. And that's why people say you absorb a lot of information, but you may not follow all of it. Or like hear 100% of advice, take away 10. I don't know. I've heard a lot of different versions of that. But that is to say that you live your own life. And whether or not you're the person who's picked first or you someone who's held really highly in somebody else's heart, I'm like, does this stuff particularly matter? Shouldn't you be your number one person? Shouldn't you just be worried about you? I'm like, I get that it sucks that like you really admire someone, you really like someone, and they may not treat you or like you the same or appreciate you the same. But isn't that still nice? There's those channels that talk about love and longing, and people who get their letters taken away by their parents because there was an arranged marriage or something. But it's so nice to have loved somebody, and that notion that no effort is wasted, that no love is wasted, is still a very beautiful, remarkable thing. And some people in relationships love servitude, and the other people love serving, and that's okay. I'm watching some people that I'm close to, and this person absolute princess treatment, and the other person loves providing the princess treatment, and that works for them. They don't actually need the mutualism; they don't want it, and that's another eye opener where it's like I strongly value the mutualism, but maybe I'm a blue colored friend to somebody, and from them to me, I am a yellow colored friend, and that dynamic works for us because they provide what I need, and I provide what they need, and those needs may be different across different people, and that is also a wake up call to me. So I'm gonna stop there because I can feel myself actively losing my train of thought, but the end all be all takeaway from the life that I have led over summer is first, enjoy your life. Oh my goodness, I feel young. I want to like do a half marathon. You want to do the Hydrox. You want to do all these goals and work on these projects that you don't want to actually talk about because it feels like I'm taking away from it. Ever since I told people that I'm a researcher, I feel like I've not actually done any research. And it's good to have clarity and focus through experience on finding out what things actually value are actually valuable to you. And that's a talk that I had very recently with a friend. They no longer wanted to be friends with me because they feel like our values didn't align, and they come crawling back and they're like, I'm realizing that you were actually a great friend. And you provided a lot of background, a lot of structure to my life in which I didn't have a lot of fondness for until summer came around and I lost it. And I wanted to rekindle this friendship. And I was like, this is really weird that someone apologized for me for living my particularly rigid life, for being a very judgmental person. And that was the first like external validation that I got outside of my family that I'm like, I was raised right. And that was a good feeling. That was nice. But the weird takeaway from that is that I was feeling a little regretful, I guess I should say. I was having some remorse that I'm a loser. I didn't do the whole party thing. I didn't like the drinking as much. I open up normally. I say things candidly. I very transparently like want a good career, and I come from a very well upbringing and background, and I don't mind being cringy because I'm like, this is the life that I want to live. I want to live authentically. I want to speak how I will. I want to express myself genuinely, genuinely, and I don't want to appeal to somebody else's standards of what's cool. I want to appeal to somebody's standards of what's cool for a job. But I also want to work on things that I find interesting, and that's in intrinsic motivation. So I want to tie all my value to intrinsic things. And unfortunately, I don't care too much to have good grades at this point. I got into a college that I wanted to get into, and I just care about graduating because my parents care about graduating, and my parents suddenly care about good grades, so now I care about good grades. But that's a limit to the extrinsic motivation that I care about because they are funding me, and that feels like a very fundamental operation. But beyond that, I'm like, all of my measures, all of my efforts, they've been intrinsic. There's these things that I want to do, and I do them. And to see somebody be like, okay, there's these things that you want to do and you do them, and that's a good way to live. It seems really fundamental to me, but a lot of people get really caught up in like the FOMO and they want to be involved in something and they'll just deteriorate their body and never say no just for the sake of other people. I'm like, that's just not how I wanted to live. But for the people that I cared about, I'll break an arm and a leg. And I don't know where I'm going with this, so I'm just gonna stop there. But I really appreciate the people that I've built so far, and it's weird to say, but I'm proud of the life that I've lived so far. Even if it wasn't the most efficient or the most optimized, or I treated people the best, or I made the best uses of my time because I lived my life. I experienced a lot, and I tried to do it to the fullest, and I tried to make the best decisions that I could at the time, even if I recognize that it will never be good enough. And that's a weird spot to be because I confidently would not have said that a long time ago. But yeah, that's about it for me. Hoping to make more content on this channel, but I've really been struggling to find my voice. I've also been like learning languages. I've been learning Tagalog and trying to rekindle my Spanish, and then eventually I'll start learning Mandarin and Japanese. And also, I'm taking a public speaking class right now, and it's still trying to get my job ordered and straight, which means that you're working on your CV, your resume 15 minutes a day, you're working on a job application, you're working on hackathons, you're working on the personal projects. I'm like, my summer has been surprisingly busy for somebody who spends like half their day sleeping. And I've also been trying to get into shape because I'm like, if I'm not going to have a job, I might as well just come back ripped. Uh, so at least that's where I'm at right now. And most of my days have been just hanging out with friends. So to my friends that I said that I'll hang out with and I haven't, I'm so sorry. Soon, soon we'll be hanging out. I haven't been in one of my cities, but I hopefully we link up before the summer ends. But yeah, life's been good, and I've had a lot of time to think, a lot of time, not too much time to sulk in the boredom, but enough to actually reflect on my life and the way that I want to approach my friends. And honestly, I don't feel like I did too bad, but I definitely do need to focus because college is wrapping up. I got a very nice message from my family saying that they'll be willing to pay for my master's, and no loans, no debt, no nothing. I'm like, I'm in a great position right now, and it takes a lot of pressure off. Honestly, it feels like I have a lot of time ahead of me, and that's a rare feeling because I was pedal to the metal, not sleeping well most of the past 2 years, and I really let myself go. So hopefully this will be different, but for now, I'm just trying to enjoy my summer, enjoy my time with people, and work on things on my own schedule, build my own routine, yada yada yada. It's 6 in the morning. I haven't slept too well, but yeah, that is a proper rant. And go watch World Cup. That's been great. Argentina, hopefully. It's been a joy to watch them play. But yeah, take care. Bye bye.